皆様、こんにちは。Hello, everybody. This is Fumi, and I am teaching Japanese today. Okay, 私は日本人です。石井ふみと申します。今日はですね、皆さんに、greetings, common greetings をお教えしたいと思います。はい。まず、朝おはようございますと言います。In the morning, we say おはようございます。And ございます is a formal way of saying something, a greeting, a very polite saying when greeting your social superior. ございます should be added. おはよう is among close colleagues and friends. おはよう is a positive tone of voice suffices. Now, こんにちは is good afternoon. Remember that N is a syllable in Japanese, so we have to say 5 syllables, pronounced as こんにちは. Okay? Be careful not to pronounce it as こんにちは. こんにちは. Okay, and good evening is pronounced as こんばんは. こんばんは. Okay, don't say こばわ. As in English, when greeted with these expressions, answering by identical greetings will suffice. If you know even slightly, as you say these greetings, you are adding a greater degree of politeness. If you can witness actual native speakers' behavior or watch it on videotape, observe how the Japanese move their heads and upper torsos when greeting each other like this. Among complete strangers, greetings as introduced here are not customarily exchanged unless you greet a person so that you can start a business interaction or unless the environment defines some social relationship between you and the addressee. Although at least in some parts of the United States it is common to greet complete strangers in an elevator, such greetings exchange are not customary in Japan. 日本ではこんにちはというと知ってる人になってしまうので、you should not greet somebody. Okay? It also considered impolite to offer these greetings when you are not facing addressee, unless, of course, you are doing so over the phone, especially when you greet someone as you approach the person on the street or in the hallway. Do not use these greetings after you pass by your addressee. The greeting exchange should be completed before you pass each other. Okay, it is thought inconsiderate to continue the greetings once you have passed the addressee. Compare this with the sometimes occurring American situations, whereby the time the greetings ritual, hi, how are you? Fine, and you? Okay, is completed. The two speakers may have passed each other. 日本ではそういうことはありません。Okay, warning. こんにちは and こんばんは are not used among family members. Likewise, among familiar company employees, when meeting each other at the company, instead of こんにちは, other brief greetings such as どうも or just a very slight nodding, yes, would be just nice to acknowledge each other. Many Americans greet each other by saying, how are you? Although it is possible to literally translate the phrase into Japanese, いかがですか? いかがですか? Specifically concerned about the physical condition used unless you are asking a person how he or she feels after being sick. For example, another possible translation of how are you is 元気ですか or お元気ですか which is also rarely used by Japanese. お元気ですか is used when you meet your friend after a while and you are concerned about how he or she has been. This expression is similar to the English how have you been? Instead of how are you, the Japanese strategy of greeting requires first the appropriate greetings formula introduced here, and second, innocuous comments on the weather. Talking about the weather, or really any non-controversial or universal topic is widely exercised strategy. Also in many parts of the world to express the speaker's interest in the person addressed. Such expressions show a friendly attitude. Practice. What do you say in Japanese when 1. You meet your friend in the morning? Ohayo, your friend, right? You meet your superior in the morning. Ohayo gozaimasu. You meet an acquaintance you run into at a store during the day. Konnichiwa. You meet a member of your social club at an evening membership meetings. Konbanwa. So that is the part of the greetings, a very common greetings. Please subscribe and I will teach you some more Japanese. Thank you so much. Okay, now we are going to describing state. Adjectival predicate. It's hot, isn't it? 暑いですね. Grammatical explanation. Let's start. There are 5 ways of modifying nouns in Japanese. 1. The use of what is called I type, E-type ですね. Adjectives at E. Using demonstratives. 3. Modifying another noun connected with a particle no. Using nominal, number 4. Using nominal adjectives. And 5 through clausal modifiers. Here we focus on the first type. First type, いをつけます. The E-type adjectives all end with E. Not all words ending with E are adjectives, however. They precede the nouns they modify, refer to characteristics. Characteristic number 6. Thus, hot day in Japanese is 暑い日. 暑い, hot, preceding 日, day. Japanese adjectives differ from English adjectives in this respect. Adjective い may also be used as a predicate refer to characteristic 2. That is to say, 暑い is a predicate meaning it is hot and is used independently in casual by です a suffix to indicate a formal style. Thus, 暑いです also means for beginning language learners. Also means it is hot. 暑いです But it is a more formal expression of 暑い. This is the safe style for beginning language learners since it is applicable to many social situations. It is better to be a little more formal than less formal. particularly when you are learning to speak Japanese. Japanese has a rich system of particles, functional words normally consisting of only a few syllables, which function grammatically and interactionally. Japanese particles are postpositional, placed immediately after to the element whose relation to the other elements is being defined, referred to characteristic 7 among interactional particles. Ne. Ne. And it is lengthened version ne are most frequently used. Ne and ne roughly function as English tag questions such as don't you in your in you like to read, don't you? Ne, ne, 同じにね use when soliciting assurance and or arrangement from the listener. Ne and ne, ne って短い方ね the shorter version of ne and the longer version ne are attached to declarative sentences, both affirmative and negative. In general, interactional particles are used in spoken Japanese. When used in written discourse, it gives a flavor of being in speaking directly to the reader's style, as one finds in personal letters. You may be wondering what happened to it in the English target expression. It's hot, isn't it? As will be explained later, pronouns are frequently not mentioned in Japanese, and therefore there is no need to match each English word with its Japanese equivalent. Refer to characteristic 4. Unlike English, the grammatical subject does not require overt expression in Japanese sentence. A word-by-word translation is hardly a recommended strategy for learning Japanese. Note that the it in the target structure does not refer to something identified earlier. The anaphoric function of pronouns. The it is placed in English only because it is grammatically required. Commentary on the weather is frequently used as a greeting. It is a safe subject to bring up to show that you are not a threat to the other person and to express your intention to maintain a friendly attitude. The best response to a comment like 暑いですね, 暑いですね is そうですね. Literally, that is so. Yes, indeed. という意味ですね. Regardless of whether you truly think or not. List of commonly used E-type adjectives. So let's practice. E-type adjectives. New, 新しい pleasantly warm, 暖かい hot, 暑い thick, heavy, 暑い same pronunciation. Busy, 忙しい beautiful, 美しい delicious, おいしい many, much, 多い large, 大きい late, slow, 遅い interesting, funny, 面白い strict, demanding, 厳しい dark, 暗い lonely, 寂しい cold, in reference to the atmosphere, 寒い splendid 素晴らしい narrow 狭い cool 涼しい tall 高い expensive 高い same as tall small 小さい near 近い cold to touch 冷たい distant 遠い We have another page, so let us continue. Long 長い early quick 早い and there's another kanji 早い They are all the same, but it means early and quick in different meanings. Low 低い wide spacious 広い old 古い with bad taste まずい short 短い difficult 難しい kind easy 優しい inexpensive 安い good 良い young 若い bad 悪い Okay, so this is the adjectives with E. Practice. Comment on the following items as shown in the example. For vocabulary, refer to the list of adjective E provided earlier. For example, time, late, 遅いですね。遅いですね。Number 1, time, early. 早いです。Exam, easy. Difficult, long, short. Exam, easy. 簡単ですね。Difficult, 難しいですね。Long, 長いですね。Short, 短いですね。Cake, delicious, expensive, inexpensive, small, and large. Okay, cake, 美味しいですね。Expensive, 高いですね。Inexpensive, 安いですね。Small, 小さいですね。Large, 大きいですね。So this is the end of number 2. Describing state. Next time we will go to number 3. Speech style. So if you like to listen to my talk again, please subscribe and don't forget to click the ring button so you'll know when my video is updated. Thank you for listening and please do come back. Hello, so number 3. I am Japanese teacher and I am talking in English. So please refer to my video for learning Japanese. This is the subject number 3 and we have until very long series which will end hopefully around 60. But now we are doing number 3, so we have a lot of things to learn about Japanese. Last time we learned about atsui toka, atsui and other e ending words to describe. Now this is the speech style, spoken, written, formal, and informal styles. Target expressions. It's early, isn't it? 早いですね。早いね。Strategic explanations. Just as in English, Japanese has different language styles depending on the sorry, gen, and the situational context in each which the language is used. We concentrate on two fundamental feature differences here, written and spoken. 書き言葉と話し言葉に分かれます。Written and spoken language on one hand and the formal and informal, casual style on the other. Written and spoken styles. The basic difference between the prototypical written and spoken style lies in the fact that in writing, we create a planned discourse ですね。to a non-specific audience. While in spontaneous speaking, we create unplanned discourse addressed directly to the interaction partner. This means that speech is featured by increased level of fragmentation, with devices emotionally appealing to the listeners. It encourages that, okay. It encouraged what Mr. Tannen, I think, 1984. I don't know who he is, called personal and emotional involvement. On the other hand, is written language, you are more likely to see complex sentence structures into which information is richly packed, a process called integration. More specifically, we can note that the following feature of spoken language. In spoken language, 1. Language is much more fragmented with shorter utterances and phrases. Number 2. Interactional particles are frequently used at the end of phrases and utterances. Number 3. Fillers and hesitation noises and interactional conjunctions occur frequently. Number 4. What is understood and obvious is not expressed to the extent it is expressed in written discourse. Number 5. Postposing fragments after the final verb is more frequently observed. Number 6. Verbs end with gerundive, and other continuing forms at the end or utterances. Gerund. Yeah, I think it's a word that people don't really usually talk. It's a linguistic word. Number 7, remarks of communication itself. Meta communication are made. Number 8, utterances may be co-created by both speakers. Both speakers. Okay, formal and informal styles. This is very long. So let's not talk, well, we should talk about this for a while. Differences between formal and informal styles are important in Japanese, just as it is the case in English, but more distinctly in Japanese. We find different speech styles depending on the social situation and the social status of the participants. Formal social situations such as school, business ceremonies, or other public gatherings require formal and careful style. Formal style is also recommended for social superiors, even in less formal situations. Normally, a higher social status is attributed to speakers who are older or male or higher in rank in the workplace. or who are considered in general to hold a higher social status. A holder of a more prestigious occupation, for example, the speech style chosen by a speaker who represents a different social level is not reciprocal. Friendly, informal speech from a social superior does not mean that one should respond in the same style. An informal casual style is used among social equals. An extremely casual style is reserved for close friends. Even among speakers representing a socially different status, if the situation of speech is personal and informal, as during casual chatting while drinking sake, the style chosen is likely to be informal. Choosing the appropriate style in different social encounters, however, requires social sensitivity and experience. It is best to use informal speech style. Closely related to the choice of speech style is the well-discussed tendency of a Japanese to identify himself or herself as a member of a group, as individual is simultaneously a member of a various social groups, family, university, or which one has graduated, or in the company where one is employed, sorry. Depending on the situational context, one of these are another group is called uchi, uchi, inside, whereas outside the group is referred as to be as soto, お外の人ね。Okay, so and a different social orientation and behavior is observed in these two contrasting social territories. 違うんですね. So that is very difficult. Okay, within Uchi, a feeling of what Doi-san of 1973 calls amae dependence prevails. When a amae relationship is mutually recognized, the speech style becomes informal and casual. In fact, contrary to the common belief that Japanese are inherently formal and polite, Japanese enjoy casual and familiar relationships and other expose and emotional vulnerability among Uchi group members. As a foreigner learning Japanese, 私は日本人だけど帰国子女だったからね。I was a returnee, so it was difficult for me to learn Japanese. Overly casual style is not recommended until a strong amae relationship is established. 互いに甘える relationship があるんですね、日本人にはね。Foreign nationals are categorically excluded from membership in the most basic group toward a foreigner, a person who belongs to 外の人と思われるわけです。At least during initial encounters, it's mostly likely to be formal. Viewed from the outside, this gives the impression that Japanese are always formal and polite, an image widely held outside Japan. Choosing appropriate speech style is an important aspect of communication in any society. In Japanese, the distinction between these styles is somewhat clearer than it is in English. And Japanese society tends to penalize inappropriate speech style more severely than other societies do. Naturally, speech styles vary in gradations. Some spoken styles are more careful and softer than others, while other styles may be more or less blunt and straightforward. はっきりしてますね。怖いです、ちょっと。We all acquire a sensitivity to speech styles in our own culture. The key is to learn the meaning of different styles in a foreign language and to cultivate a sensitivity in accordance with the norms of that society. とても大事なことです。At this point, we should be aware of two styles, one formal and the other informal, or plain or casual. In using adjective e, when the desu ending is added, it is formal, while the form without desu is considered informal, plain, and casual. The plain casual style will be marked with this, I can always say it is casual throughout the book. So I'm just reading this book, as you may have noticed. I found this book in Machida. Do you know Machida is in Tokyo? Machida is a very big town, very close to Sagamihara, where I live. And they had this book, and I found it very interesting. Speaking Japanese language is very difficult to foreigners, and especially to understand what Japanese people are saying. Why they talk like this is a mystery, I think. Okay, so let's go to number 4. Describing state 2, which is adjectival predicate with topic. とても難しいですね。So let's start with number 4. Describing state number 2, adjectival predicate with topic. Target expression. It's warm today, isn't it? 今日は暖かいですね。今日は noun and what? Grammatical explanation. The target explanation above contains a formal style of adjective e, that is, 暖かいです, preceded by a noun, 今日, which means today, and は. A topic marker. は is a particle which marks the topic of an utterance, a sentence, or a topic activated across several utterances, sentences. Refer to characteristic 3. Topic is defined simply as something that is being talked about. In the sentence, 今日は暖かいですね. 今日 is marked as a topic. The statement is about the topic 今日, today, is something that is talked about. The remaining portion of the utterance, that is, 暖かいですね, is called comment and provides information pertinent to the topic. The concepts of topic and comments are extremely important for understanding how Japanese organize sentences. We will return to this issue later. On Japanese nouns. noun です。noun っていうのは日本語で言うと名詞と言いますね。名詞。品詞のことで名詞。nouns, Japanese nouns. Okay. Since this entry marks the first appearance of Japanese nouns, we must notice one grammatical characteristic of Japanese nouns that is very different from English. There is no grammatical distinction between singular and plural nouns in Japanese. びっくりですね。複数と単数がないんですね。Refer to characteristic 9. Thus, for both one apple and two apples, りんご suffices. Whether ringo じゃない、リンゴ is singular or plural depends on the context, and it is not marked in the noun form. Since a grammatical singular and plural distinction is not required in Japanese, learning whether or not an English noun is countable, that is, whether or not the plural s should be added, attached, is difficult for Japanese students learning English. ここが大事なとこですね。日本では、複数単数の発想がないので、apple に apples をつけるのが難しい。You can understand that as a bilingual, okay? Okay, it is sometimes difficult to remember that the English noun chalk is uncountable. 2 chalks is not acceptable in English when counting 2 pieces of chalk. そうだったんですね。知らなかったです。While the noun pencil is pencil はいいんですね。Strange. One must say 2 pencils, of course. Pencils. Okay, so let's go to the examples. 英語 is a noun. English. And in English, work and job. 仕事. Yes. Interaction. Yes. A. Adjective. Really? Indeed. 本当に Apple. りんご. Okay, so this is a sentence. 英語は難しいです。英語は難しいです。English is difficult. Number 2. 仕事は厳しい。仕事は厳しい。The job is demanding. Number 3. 今日は寒いですね。今日は寒いですね。It's cold today, isn't it? 本当に。Yes, indeed. 4番、Number 4. リンゴは美味しいです。リンゴは美味しいです。Apples are delicious. Okay, practice. Noun. 天ぷら。Tempura. Fried vegetables and fish. 美味しいですね。Tempura. 東京都。違うな。東京 is for Tokyo. 東京。ちょっと違うね。A bit different pronunciation. Okay. Comment in Japanese about the following. Today, hot weather. 今日は暑いですね。Number 2, tempura, delicious. 天ぷらは美味しいですね。Number 3, Tokyo, far away. 東京は遠いですね。Number 4, today, warm, cold. 今日は暖かいね。Or 今日は寒いね。And this is casual. Okay? 今日は寒いね。今日は暖かいね。Okay. Additional information. Some Japanese proper nouns written in the conventional alphabet in Western literature are misrepresentation of original Japanese words. For example, Tokyo is spelled in English literature worldwide is pronounced with 4 beats or mora, Tokyo in Japanese. In this book that I'm reading, when Japanese transliteration is given, it is given in such manner as to refer the actual mora structure, mora ですね、吐く and the pronunciation of each word. Okay? はい、これで4番が終わりました。はい。ですので、今度から long words になりますね。long words. long words はとても日本語は多いです。Please listen and let's learn. Okay, so we will start with number 5. こんにちは、石井ふみです。So let's talk about long words in Japanese. I am a bilingual. 日本語と英語のバイリンゴで来ましたので、I can speak Japanese and English. なので、I might sometimes kind of, なんていうんだっけ code switch? Not code switch. Might borrow words. Anyway, we'll start with the topic with loan words. Now, target expressions. 切れた。戻った。一回切りますね。